The quarterback position in 2019 continues to perplex and intrigue people. Daniel Jones of Duke is one of the names being mentioned as a first-round pick. We're going to take a look at the Duke quarterback next as our 2019 NFL Draft Video Profile Series continues right here on Dynasty League Football.
The NFL Draft Profile Series, NFL prospects, break it down, let's get it. People's pen and the gridiron scholar, time to do it major. Let's see who running the field, let's analyze the data. Yeah, let's go.
Daniel Jones of Duke has been in the national spotlight at the quarterback position for a couple years now as a 3-year starter for the Duke Blue Devils. But there's a lot of intrigue because he doesn't necessarily give you everything you want to see, at least at this stage of the career. I mean, he's got the size, he's got the pedigree, he's been playing under Coach Cutcliffe, the quarterback guru, but it somehow doesn't seem to all translate. John, what do you think of Daniel Jones? Are you enamored by him? Are you worried? Are you scared? What is your feeling, and how would you rank him among the other quarterbacks in this class?
I have him much lower than many of the draft scouting experts out there. I am not enamored with him at all, my friend Andy. I think the sum is not as great as the individual parts. Now, I understand what people see. He's 6'5" and 220 pounds, and he's a tough competitor. So he looks the part. And then when you look at the resume, he was a well-coached prospect, absorbing tons of knowledge at the Manning Passing Academy, and he learned under Duke coach David Cutcliffe. So there's a lot to like there. Then you look at the numbers. He's a redshirt junior who ended his tenure at Duke second in total offense, second in total touchdowns, third in touchdown passes, and fifth in passing touchdowns. He even established a single game mark with 547 yards of total offense this past season against North Carolina. So you look at this part of the resume and you say, hey, he has the pedigree of an NFL quarterback. But I've watched him a lot because I love college fantasy football, and I actually drafted him 2 seasons ago. So I've watched him a lot on film, and I'm not overly impressed with this young man. So then I look at my benchmark stats that I like a lot, Andy. And believe it or not, he only reaches one of my 5 benchmark statistics, and that is games played. When you look at passing efficiency, completion percentage, yards per attempt, and touchdown into interception ratio, he falls below all 4 marks. His production on the field is not there. And the one which shocks me the most, his yards per attempt is a pedestrian, and I'm being kind, 6.4 yards per attempt. That is really bad, Andy, at the college level. So what does he do well? What are some of the scouts saying? Look, he's a smart young man. He clearly dissects the defense well pre-snap. He gets the offense in a position to win. He identifies the weak spots, and he swiftly moves from target to target in his progressions. He's a very good play-action pass athlete. He can run an RPO offense pretty well. He does bait defenders with eye movement. He has a clean drop back and good footwork. I mean, he has the basic skills that you are looking for. He is patient in the pocket, and he has light feet for a big man. But what am I concerned about? He played predominantly in a shotgun formation at Duke. He has a slow delivery and limited arm talent. I mean, he does not throw the ball well deep down the field. He is going to get picked off by those NFL safeties if he is throwing the deep post patterns. He does not get the ball into those tight windows. He struggles with it. And what he doesn't have, Andy, he doesn't have chutzpah. He checks down too often, in my opinion. He doesn't have that it factor. And that's what comes out in those statistics that I just talked about. So, Andy, I've read what you said about Daniel Jones. Tell us what you think.
So, John, the film, the numbers, the Senior Bowl performance, none of it seemed to add up. I mean, the initial feel is that he should have the most upside of all of the quarterbacks in this class. But then you think of him working 3 years for the guru, as I mentioned, David Cutcliffe at Duke, and there's not a ton of progress that he's made in those 3 years. So has he already maxed out? I mean, you watch him alone, and you just look at certain aspects of his game, and as you mentioned, the individual parts are all great, but when you add it all up, it just doesn't seem to mesh. He feels the pocket really well. He'll step up and glide through it uninterrupted. He'll also stand in the pocket to deliver a throw, and I think perhaps better than any other guy in this class. He sees the pressure coming, and he waits to the last minute to deliver and knows he's going to get a licking and still stands in the pocket to deliver. But he doesn't consistently make the right read, and to me, that's something that's instinctual, and you don't necessarily coach that up. I'm not always sure he sees the entire field. He can lock on a receiver, tips the linebackers off sometimes, especially down in goal line situations near the red zone. Didn't always get picked off in that, but some passes were blocked in defense better than they probably should have been, and that's from him locking on receivers. His arm is legit. He can make the throws. He has the strength to it, but as you mentioned, he's not that accurate. But when he does deliver, especially in like that West Coast kind of setting on those quick slants, it just looks so smooth and so crisp and easy delivery that you want to believe. But then when you put it all together, again, it's just like, what am I missing here? He's a good runner. He'll put his head down and try to push the pile, but does he try to run too much? I mean, he's not Josh Allen. I don't think of him as a running quarterback, but he's willing to. The best thing I like about him, he's a mutter. You know, he'll grind for you. He's like the coach's kid or a gym rat. And all in all, he feels streaky to me. Not bad. He won't kill you, but he's also, I don't think he's going to win you games. And that goes to that chutzpah that you were talking about him lacking. My ultimate question, and this is what kind of, jumped out at me in watching the film, was how good was his surrounding talent at Duke? I saw a lot of drop passes, lead receiver in particular, a lot of body catching and balls that were placed on his hands that he, just the way he tried to position his body didn't result in the catch. So I don't put that on Jones. I think there's something to him. I think he could push for that first round just because of, somebody could see, hey, maybe Cutcliffe couldn't get this out of him, but I can. But it's a gamble, especially, when you're picking in the first round. It's definitely a gamble. And then when you see him in individual things where he should be stepping out and differentiating himself, as I mentioned, the Senior Bowl, just recently the Combine that we saw, he doesn't take advantage of those moments and those opportunities to really, shred all doubts. So he's definitely an interesting prospect and project. I would still label him a project. I'm not entirely comfortable with Daniel Jones, but I feel like we could look back and be wrong and say, wow, this guy really did develop. I don't know. What do you think about Daniel Jones? This is just two men's opinion on the prospect, so leave it in the comments what you think, if you agree with us, if you think we're wrong, if we helped you understand Daniel Jones in any better way today by listening. Thanks for checking us out. Check out John's other work on Football Diehards, my other work on my newly launched website, Expand the Box Score, and you can check out all the videos right here on DynastyLeagueFootball.com, as well as some other great Dynasty articles and fantasy football in general. Thanks for checking us out. Hope you enjoyed. See you later.